I will make corrections or clarify whenever it is required.
Okay, so in my mind, right, I am not sure about Rogers. In my mind, I see the way I see this is like two chassis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of Flex, and then in terms of upgrading, we need to upgrade the CMM, the UEFI, IMM2, and all the other individual nodes, right? So in terms of approach, I feel that we will need to upgrade the CMM first.
Mm-hmm.
Then after upgrading both the CMMs, everything looks okay. Then we go to the individual nodes one by one to upgrade them according to the firmwares that we need
Mm-hmm.
to flash them.
Yeah, good.
But
So, before
but
before you get into the update part of the story,
mm,
right? Before you get into the update part of it, do you know once you enter the premises, what you need to look for, and do you know what are the prerequisites for updating a firmware? Essentially, the node firmware doesn't require much of a prerequisite because it is just a BMC, which you are going to run first. Okay. So as I said before, if you are not going to concentrate on the network adapters and all those stuff, only if you are going to update UFI, IMM, and for all the nodes, and you are going to update CMM and the switch, then there is nothing much to the story. Okay. So
okay.
before you get into the update part of it, do you know what needs to be asked with the customer, and where do you go and update it? Are you clear on that?
Yeah, the other time you showed on the where to check for the firmware, the prerequisites and the what dependencies from the IBM Fit Central website, depending on the system, whether is it the IBM X series or the newer Lenovo systems.
Mm. So you are in the premises now. Okay.
Mm.
Once you are in the premises, the first thing to ask is for the CMM access.
Okay, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
CMM is a component through which you can access the nodes, you can access the switch, you can update the firmware for the CMM as well. Okay.
okay,
So the first thing you need to ask is whether you are going to uh, get a CMM access through the network, or are you going to connect your laptop directly to the CMM and going to update it? Okay, either of the ways. You be very clear. Okay, so
okay,
if the customer says you can go ahead and update it via network, well and fine, there is no issues. Okay, ensure that none of the ports are blocked. Essentially, sometimes what happens is that, example, while you are updating the switch firmware, okay, it requires a TFTP or an SFTP server. Okay,
okay,
what happens is that in sometimes in some client places, the ports which are used for the SFTP, TFTP, and all those things will be blocked in the network. Okay.
okay.
So while you are doing so, there might be a failure in updating the firmware. Okay. So
Mm.
first thing you need to ask is whether the CMM access is available or not on the network. Okay. So
Okay,
if they have the access, you need to get the IP address and obviously the credentials of it. Either client provides it or you take it, whatever, however the way. The first thing to ask for is the CMM access. Okay. Second thing is that you can update the servers simultaneously as well in Flux chassis. Okay.
mm.
For example, you are sitting in a desktop in a client place. Okay. Roger sits in another desktop. Okay. So
Mm.
the only condition is that both the servers should be able to reach the CMM and the IMM IP address. That's the prerequisite.
Okay,
Okay. So uh, ask for the CMM access. Okay. Ask for the CMM access. Okay, then note down the IP address of the nodes versus slots. For example, slot, you make a note of it. Nothing wrong in writing down. Okay, nothing wrong. Write down on a paper or on your diary, wherever it is. Okay. Node number one, IMM IP address. Okay. Similarly, the other nodes, IMM IP address. Note down that. Okay. Uh, once you are having the CMM access and the IMM IP addresses, ensure that all the IMM addresses are pinging. You try pinging all the IMM IP addresses. Okay.
Because one of the things that the guys were wondering is that they were having the impression that there is one KVM terminal, so only one person can work on the node at one
You
time.
don't need a KVM.
Yes.
You don't need a KVM, right?
It's just
So,
a
see,
web browser, right?
Correct. So those times are long gone. Okay.
Yes.
You don't need to connect a keyboard, mouse, monitor in front, and there is no CD-ROM as such, right? There is no CD-ROM for the Flex chassis. So there is no point in connecting a monitor. Just connect a monitor if you really want to sit in the data center and update it. Okay.
Harry?
Hmm.
No, what we are saying is that in a lot of data center environment in our local context, normally they have maybe one KVM and then connected to all the server. So where they can allow us, maybe there's only through KVM. We don't know. That's why we are prompting this question. What if
There is no KVM for CMM? Be clear about it. The
Okay.
older servers had VGA cables and all those stuff where those are all chained together and hooked onto the KVM switch. From the KVM switch, one switch can manage multiple servers. Okay, those are all days gone. You will not use KVM for the firmware update of the Flex chassis.
which means we have to have direct access to the
CMM.
You will need an IMM access, Roger. You will need an IMM access to update the nodes. You will need a CMM access to update the CMM firmware. You will need the switch IP access to update the switch. How do you take a console of a switch and CMM? It is only through the web. Similarly, you are going to create a BOMC, right?
Yep.
So once you are creating a BOMC, what is the fun in having a direct connectivity on the monitor? You don't need it. So you are creating an ISO. For mounting an ISO, you will need an IMM access, right?
Okay.
And everything you can do it via the IMM access. The only thing when you will require an monitor connectivity directly onto the server is if something goes wrong. If you want to physically check the server, that's when you will need a monitor connectivity. Otherwise, you don't need. So that is why I'm repeating again and again. All you need is the CMM access. Okay. All you need is the IMM IP addresses and the switch IP addresses. Okay. Note it down well and fine. Okay. Then start with two non-critical nodes first. Start with two non-critical nodes first. Mount the ISO. Let Roger take a system and mount the ISO, and let Syed take a system and mount the ISO. Two different machines, two different IMM access. Okay. Only advantage in Flex chassis is that you can take the control of the IMM separately. You don't need to rely till the time one IMM connectivity finishes. You don't need to rely on the other. You can take the console of the IMM simultaneously for all the blades. Okay. So again repeating again. So let me be repeating. There is no harm in it. Okay. So you will not need a physical monitor access or I have never seen in my life that some customer has connected a Flex chassis to a KVM. No one has done it yet. Okay. So KVMs are old technologies and you don't need a KVM anymore because the FlexJC in itself will provide you the concurrent access for all the servers simultaneously. What is the use of KVM then, right? Whatever you see in the IMM remote is what you see in the monitor. So you don't need a KVM. Okay. So
Okay.
all you need is CMM access, IMM access, switch IP address, switch access, right? All the IP address, note it down, ensure that they are reachable before the testing. Okay. Before the test and before you update a firmware, ensure all the IP addresses of IMM and switches are accessible. Okay. If everything is accessible, take couple of notes. First, reboot the server. Normal reboot. Let the machine come up on in the OS well and fine. Okay. First, normal reboot. You don't flash the firmware immediately. Take a normal reboot first. Let it boot into the OS properly as a trial. If it boots, and sometimes what happens is that customer would have updated some patches and failed to or forgot to reboot it. Okay. What happens is in many incidents we have seen that after our firmware update, the machine would not boot. The client would not spell out that there was a patch update done long. Okay. And to find out it takes days for us. Okay. So in order to avoid that, you will not do anything, any action first. You will just reboot the machine, ensure the machine is booting well into the operating system first. Okay. And then you start flashing the firmware by reboot, mount the image and update the firmware. Okay. So two machines.
Yeah.
Go on.
What I wanted to ask is that also, if like what you say, so basically what we need if we are there is to have a notebook and a network cable and whatever tools that we have available with us as well, right?
Come again, I didn't get your question.
So what we need to be on site is each of us have our notebook as well as the network cable so that we can access through their network, that's all, right?
We are not allowed to bring any laptops. We will use their machines, I believe.
Yeah, I know. This is why I asked the question. So are they going to provide us the notebook or we bring our notebook?
So this is a question you need to put forward to the customer. I think Melissa has responded yesterday that customer won't allow a USB or a laptop into their premises.
Yes,
right?
nothing. You cannot bring your own laptop or any form of storage devices. So that's the reason why customer is downloading the firmware themselves.
It's okay. So, but Melissa, one thing here is that if at all it requires, client need to arrange a laptop for us to.
Yes, they can.
Okay. So let us be assured of that. Essentially, for updating a firmware, either use client's laptop or a desktop. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay. So client needs to provide you with an either desktop or a laptop to update firmware. If you are going to update on two people who are going to update firmware simultaneously, then let client provide a couple of desktop at least to flash the firmwares. Okay. So let it go clear to the customer. Okay. So if at all it requires a whenever there is a failure or if there are any challenges, the CMM is not reachable during the firmware update. What you need to do is you may need to go and connect the laptop directly to the CMM to test. So during that time, we will need a laptop with a patch cable connected to it. Okay, without a firewall blocking anything. Okay, so client need to provide a laptop for a standby. Okay, otherwise a couple of desktops will do. From where the CMM and the IMM IP addresses and the switch IP addresses should be accessible. Okay.
Okay.
So once all done, so first step, get the CMM access. Second step, ensure that all the IMM and switch IPs are pinging. Okay. Third step, whatever the nodes you are picking up for the firmware update, just reboot it at once before you update the firmware. Okay. Step number 4, you will take two non-critical nodes and mount the ISO image in the IMM and try to update the firmware. Okay, and once everything is good and smooth, okay, after updation, the machine has to boot into the operating system. Okay, and ensure that those two machines are tested. Essentially, client has to test whether the network connectivity is good and the OS is good and everything is functional. Post the confirmation of these two nodes, you may proceed on for the rest of the nodes in a similar fashion, like pick another couple of nodes and try and then flash the firmwares. Okay, so this is how you do a node firmware update. Okay, I'm not sure who's going to do a switch firmware update. The switch firmware requires a TFTP or an SFTP server. I'm not sure whether it was put forward to the customer before.
I don't think so.
So if you have not put it across to the customer, you need to. Okay, there needs to be a TFTP server where the firmware has to be placed. Okay.
Okay, Hari, one question I do have, because from my past experience in updating the switch, if I'm not mistaken, it's a bin file. So for Lenovo, in this case, it's also an ISO file.
Switch is not. Switch is a bin file.
If I'm not mistaken, when I was doing some Cisco switch upgrades. So in this case, for Lenovo, the files are all image ISO files, right?
This will be in a format of imgs file, .imgs.
.imgs, okay.
Okay. So there are two ways to update it. Okay. One is you can update it via the GUI itself. Okay. I'm not sure I have shared you the procedure for an EN4093 switch, which I have documented and shared with the PMA team. I'm not sure. You can follow the same procedure for the CN4093 as well, because end of the day both are from the BNT only, and the procedure will still apply for CN4093. Okay.
Yeah, I think we might not have that. Roger, do you recall anything on that procedure? I don't think we have it. Yeah.
No, we
So
don't
I
have
will.
that.
So I will do one thing. So, did you send a link to the customer to download the firmware for the switch?
No, I do not think we have the firmware for the switch.
So is
I
it part
think
of the
that,
scope?
hold on. I think the switch we might have a file that I indicated, but the way to download the file is okay. This is part of the question that I wanted to ask, because it's indicated that we should follow the IBM fixed central site to download the firmware as well, especially for the LOM as well as the network card firmware. But it seems like we are not able to find the network card firmware for that particular version. So
I already provided you a documentation on how to find it. I've sent you a Word document with all the snapshots on step by step to how do you find it. Are we missing
the
something here?
network firmware.
Yeah. Let me share my screen, boss. I think we are missing something here.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe the people are not seeing the mails regularly to my view. So, Roger, you only have raised that question, and I've captured that in a document and sent it to you, I believe. Whom I sent it? Yes. Who has asked for it? I don't recollect.
Give me a, let me look back as well.
Give me a minute. Let me find out that document again. This is what the document has sent.
I think it's the one on the 20th of May. I saw one where you have an attachment to say locating network firmware on IMM service data for PDF.
Yeah. And download it. So you are able to see my screen, right?
Yep.
So this is how you look into the IMM logs, right? IMM FFTC parser. Once you go here, only the limited information will be available. Essentially, the UEFI IMM and the DSA firmware versions will be available. If you want to have a detailed look, go to the detailed data and adapters. And I go to the IBM Flex System 2 port 10 GB LOM virtual fabric adapter and select more. And in the bottom, you will see the firmware version here. Okay. How do you identify it? So if you see the model of it, OC102R, right? Okay. You open the fix central. I just search with OC11. Okay. So this is what the firmware version is 11.2.1193.76. Okay. Similarly, I have done for the as well. CN4054 10.2.261. This is the existing firmware version. And similarly, OCM11. This is also the same firmware, right? So for both of the client's network adapters, whether it be an LOM or the CN4054, the firmware is still the same. This firmware. So OCE11 is what you need to search for, or OC11 you can search for. Sometimes what happens is here you will see OC 14111. Then you go to the fix central and search for OC1414. Then you'll find the firmware for those chipset. Okay. So first you need to find out the firmware of the client existing firmware version, for which open the IMM data, detailed data, go to the adapter section. The more will give you the firmware existing firmware details. Okay, and this will provide you the model number as well. Okay. So this is what I did. I searched for OC11. You see this firmware, right?
Yep.
This is a firmware. If you really want to be sure, go to the change history. Okay. And search for LOM. Is it there?
Yep.
Similarly, the other card. What is the other card? CN4054. Search for CN4054. Is it there? Right?
Yep.
So this is how we confirm it. Okay. So the chipset will help you. Some of the firmwares will start with OC 14.
Hold on, hurry. When you're when you call out the find feature from the Lenovo side, from the IBM Fix Center, where do you call out the find function?
What is that, sir? This is based on the browser. Is it not? It is not about IBM site or anywhere. It is a browser functionality. Control F is what I do it.
Okay.
Even in Mozilla, Control F. Everywhere it is Control F. It is a web page functionality.
Yeah. Okay.
This is how you download the firmware. I have already sent this document to you. Please try to find out. Otherwise, I have already attached it in the chat now, so you can download that as well. So that is how you identify the network card firmware. I'm not sure you guys have already downloaded the Stacy firmware.
Yep.
Mozilla will be convenient for me. Center. Select product. Flex. Pure. Flex. Enterprise chassis. 8721. Continue.
Yeah, this one I think I have no problem because I tested this as well. I downloaded the software as well.
N4093. So this is what the firmware which is available latest, right?
Yep.
So I'm not sure. Give me a second. Let me also show you what are the files will be available inside.
Harry.
The
other thing is that I think both my colleagues, Mr. Tam and Syed, they have problem downloading the software from the Fix Center. I think they have some error. I'm not too sure what error they have, but I do not have any issue downloading the software. Syed, maybe you want to highlight your problem to him as well.
I don't think I have any issues downloading the software.
I thought you have some error yesterday.
No, I don't think so.
So this is how the file will be. The name of the file will be .img, right?
Okay.
This is how it will be. Okay, there will be two files. One is a OS image and another one is a boot image. Okay, two images will be there. You have to update both, and the reboot of the switch has to be taken after the firmware after the flash of both OS and the boot image. Okay, so is this session being recorded, Melissa?
Yes, it is being recorded.
Okay, so log in. So this is what you need. Okay, this IP address what client is using for the CMM management. This IP address is something you will need it, and the credentials. If customer is not willing to provide the credentials, each and every time they have to come and provide us the credentials by typing it manually. Okay, so you will need this IP address so for updating the firmware or anything. So you can make a note of all the IP addresses of the nodes and the switches from here. Chassis management and component IP address. Okay, component IP configuration. So if you go to view, then you will see the IP addresses here. Okay, this is the IP address. Similarly for the node. Okay. Once you have the IP addresses, then you don't need to bother, right? You just put this IP in a browser. You can manage it individually. So this is the IMM login, right? So usually, whatever the credentials you provide for the CMM, the same credentials will be there for IMM as well, usually. Okay. So either client provides it, or client provides it to you, or they type it here, however it is. So if you know the IP address, just type the IP address in the browser. You will be able to manage the IMM individually. Okay. So if Roger has a system, you can have what are the nodes you are going to handle. Make sure you ticket and Syed, whatever he is going to handle, let him own it. Okay. Put the IP address of IMM here so that you can manage the IMM here. Okay. So
Harry. So if let's say once we have all the IP addresses, we tested the IP address, all can ping, then after that, everything checked, we restart the system first. Once we can access with CMM after the reboot, do we upgrade the CMM first?
yeah, you can upgrade the CMM first. See, I don't think we have a major firmware difference, okay, which can impact the machine communication and all those stuff. So there is no harm. You can update the CMM first, then start with the nodes. There is no harm, okay. So I believe you know how to take the remote control. This is how you take a remote control, okay.
Okay.
It is already being taken here, okay. I just am giving a refresh on what you need to do. So this is how you see the machine, okay. Either log in into it and say shutdown or whatever it is, okay. And once it boots fine, again reboot it. Here is how you mount an image, okay. Virtual media, activate first. Once it is activated, select the devices to mount, okay. You will browse the image from the laptop or desktop, wherever it is. Click the ISO image, okay, and you need to select the mapped and say mount selected, okay. This is how you mount an image, okay. Once it is rebooted, you need to press F12 so that it will give you an option where to boot. Then you need to select either IMM remote mount or a CD DVD ROM so that it starts booting into the ISO image. Then after that you will know the procedure anyways, okay. So this is how you do the firmware update for the nodes. So one thing is clear, you can manage the node individually, okay. So just that you need to know the IP address, okay. So coming back to the switch, right, you have the EN4093R, right. So let me open the documentation now what I've created for.
Alright, do we update the switch first or update the node first?
Doesn't matter, you can do any of the ways, because that is why I said there is no major firmware difference. So you can actually, to say, you can start with the switch, okay. Client is going to provide the downtime for the entire chassis, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So any of the ways he doesn't bother, even if something goes wrong or if some server loses the network connectivity while you are updating, right? So you can start with the switch, but since you are going to update the CMM, then start with the nodes, then finally you can update the switch.
Okay. So we leave the switch last.
Yeah, you can. So this is how it looks like. You will download the firmware, obviously. There will be two images. One is OS and another one is boot. Okay. You will launch the IOM console here. Okay. And if you don't do this option, go to the chassis management and component IP configuration where you will see the IP address. Type the IP address in the web browser, and the GUI will be opened. Okay. In which there is something called as config and image control. If you see this here, okay, in the top you need to select give me a second. Forgot the IP address. Oh, but yeah. So let me launch the IOM console here. So the default username password is admin and admin, okay, even for the CN4093 as well, okay. If the client has changed it, get the credentials of the switch, okay. Someone has changed it in between. So these three has a distinct purpose, okay. Statistics and dashboards are uneditable. These will show you some information, that's all. Okay, example, it can be a switch related information, okay, or an IP related information or whatever it is. The statistics and the things will show you only the information alone. This is not configurable or can be editable. So statistics is statistics, right? So and dashboard is some kind of information what you are expecting for, right? So these two are not useful for you, okay? Yeah, for updating the firmware especially. So you will select configure and then config image control. This is where you will update the firmware. So here is what you will see. What is the firmware version which is running, okay? And remember always, the switch has two image versions, two OS image versions, okay? One is image 1 and another one is image 2, okay? What you need to look into is that what is the image it is booting into. Image 2 is something it is booting into, okay? So you will flash the image which it is booting into, okay? Okay. So where do you update firmware? So here is that. So you will select which image to be updated, image 2, and say browse. Select the image. So you when you select image, that is OS. So you have to select the OS, open, download via browser. Once you are done, it will flash the firmware. Okay, this is the simple way of updating the firmware via the GUI. Okay, similarly you have to update boot, browse the file, select the boot image, open, download via browser. Okay, if both are done, scroll down. Okay, you will see a message here once the firmware is updated, a green a message in green saying that the firmware is updated to so and so version. Okay, once it is updated, you can reboot the switch. So you need to have both boot and OS image updated before you reboot the switch. This is how you do a firmware update via browser based interface. We call it as BBI, okay, from the GUI. So for the CLI, you will need an SFTP access or a TFTP access, which you may need to ask for if you do not have a GUI enabled. And there is a way to enable the GUI as well. Before you do a firmware update, ensure that the client has a GUI version enabled, just like what we did. Go to the CMM, launch the IOM connection. Once it if it opens, then the BBI is enabled. If it can't, then the BBI is disabled, for which you need to enable it via a command. So
Hari, before you go to the command part, can you scroll up? There's a TFTP over there. As you say, this firmware is actually can be downloadable through the internet, or it can be point to a TFTP server, or even to a specific location that the customer has downloaded the file for this upgrade, correct?
So whenever you say TFTP server or an SFTP server, doesn't matter where it is, this switch IP address should be able to reach that specific TFTP or SFTP server.
Okay.
That is a prerequisite. Nothing should block in between. Essentially, the SFTP and TFTP, when you say or provide the details of the server, it will try to contact, this switch will try to contact the SFTP server. So how do it contact the SFTP or TFTP server? This is via network. Okay. So while it is reaching the SFTP, or should block in between in reaching the SFTP or TFTP server. Okay, you need to be sure of that.
Okay.
So best way and easy ways to do it via GUI. Go prepared with both the options, I would say.
Okay.
So once you go prepared with both the options, you can opt either one of the options. Before that, if you can check with the customer whether they are able to access the GUI, nothing like it, so that you can go prepared. Okay, and I can provide this documentation what I captured for the EN4093, because the interface still looks like the same thing, even for the CN4093 as well. Okay, whatever the window you are seeing, right, it will be even 90% the same thing. Okay, so same option, config image control, the GUI, whatever the options we have seen for updating the firmware, it is the same.
Okay.
So let me revise what we have said. What are the first thing what you need to know once you enter into the premises? CMM IP addresses, then note down the IMM IP address, ensure that all the IP addresses are reachable, IMM and the switch IP address, right? Then take a couple of machines, IMM control, reboot the machine, ensure that the machine boots up fine, well and fine. Then you start the activity of your firmware update by mounting the image in the IMM, right? So you're going to do the CMM firmware update first, right? So I hope you know the procedure to update the CMM firmware. Okay. So here's how you update it: management module, firmware, update firmware, you need to select local. Next, select the firmware file. Remember, once you extract the CMM zip file, there will be multiple files. Okay, this is the file cmefs.uxp. The size will be of 74.6 MB, nearly about 73 to 74 MB. Okay, so ensure that you are selecting the right file, otherwise anyways it would fail. Okay, uxp is the firmware update file .uxp, and that will be the highest capacity file in the entire file. Okay, open it. You will say next. You either prefer here to automatically restart it, or you restart it later after it flashes the firmware. So once you are done with this, it will perform the firmware flash. Then you go to the management module management, and then say restart CMM once the firmware update is completed. Put a continuous ping so that you will know once the CMM resumes the once the ping response gets connected again. Okay. So this is how you do IMM update and the CMM update and the switch update.
Okay, Hari, which means that it will be very important to make sure that the CMM firmware update file is downloaded in a single separate file as a CMM update itself, rather than we combine with other, like maybe the UFI or what, to download together, correct? Because I noticed that there are some selection that I've done, and when I download, it's about 200 over meg size. So maybe file size wise is already not quite the same.
So this is the firmware. This is a zip file, right? You will download this file, which is of the maximum capacity, right?
Yep.
Download. So I have already downloaded it. I have the firmware already. So this is the firmware file. If you extract it, it will have all this firmware file. It will have all these files. This is the file, CMEFS, which is around 74 or 76 MB, right?
Yep.
So this is the file you need to select for firmware update. You can check yourself essentially whether you are downloading the right firmware or not. You can once you are downloaded, open it and see whether you have this file. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is how you do a CMM firmware update. So we have seen how do you approach a firmware update already, okay? And how do you go and check for the IP addresses, and what do you ask for? All the things you have already seen it. So you have any questions? Do ask now. Do ask now,
Yeah,
because
okay.
I'm not sure what type of access you will have once you are inside the premises, whether the phones are allowed or not, whether the emails are allowed or not. So I do not know. So go prepared.
Yeah, I
That's what
know.
I would say. That's what I would say. If you have any questions, do let me know now.
What about the BOMC update?
Hmm. What do you know? What do you want to know about BM's update?
So the one is for each node, whatever that is downloaded, we just update the BOMC for the nodes itself.
Right. So that is what I said. When if you are going to stop with the UEFI and IMM firmware alone, then there is no issue. If you are going to update the network firmware as well, so you are going to update the switch as well. Okay, so remember that you need to have the good firmware or latest firmware on the card as well. So I would personally, I would say that you update everything, essentially UEFI IMM network and the RAID, and ensure that the client updates the driver first. Then you update the firmware. Because I do not know anything about the client's OS version and all those stuff. Are you aware of it?
No, we are not aware of to what version they are at the current moment.
Because that is important to know, because VMware works in quite a different way. Comparing to the other operating systems, VMware works quite in a different way. So let me show you what you want to check. This is
I think
what they.
sorry, I think the main question was should we update the network card as well because of the firmware? I think there was a discussion earlier between, more like, was it something that we can do, or we wait for the driver to, which one to go first? The driver to be updated?
Driver first. There is a note which is given in the change history file that you have to bring it to the certain driver level before you update the firmware.
Yeah, there's some dependency on that, correct.
Right,
So
right.
if let's say the driver need to be updated first, so is it to be a better idea that the customer updated the driver first before we go in, or we just go in
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do?
Either of the ways. Customer may not be able to afford multiple downtimes. Okay, so it would be better once you are there, let client update the drivers one after another and hand over the machine to you so that you can update the firmware. Okay, so how do you check for the the compatible firmware versions for the ESXi? Okay, you need to keep this in mind always. Okay,
Okay.
this is the link where you need to check, because uh, VMware purely works on this link. Okay, so you need to say system servers, or if you say systems and servers, it will show you, for example, the client has 6.5 update 3, okay, and you will select IBM, and what is the blade you are going to update? X240. This is what the node is, right? So what is the processor based on which you need to select it? Assuming that we do not have V2, I think so. You will select this. You will select ESXi 6.5. it will say what is the firmware which is compatible.
Okay.
This is only UEFI, it says. If you want to check for an adapter, what you got to do is, instead of system servers, you need to select IO devices. And keep it in mind, VMware only supports based on this firmware. If you update a latest firmware and they have some or other kind of issues, they will first ask you to rectify the firmware first. Because
Okay.
they go by the VMware compatibility guides, and you will also have to go by that. Okay. So, and 6.5 update 3. For example, you have the LOM, right? LAN on motherboard.
Yep.
You will say IBM and you will say LOM. You know the model of it, right?
OCI 11 something, right?
Ah, right. So that's what you got to check here. 11102R, right? Like system 10 GB, 10 GB LOM, right?
Yep.
So you'll select this, and this is what the firmware version it requires. It doesn't require anything more. It does not require anything latest, right? The latest what we have seen is around the 11.x version. Okay.
Right.
So this version doesn't require the latest firmware at all.
Okay.
So if the
But
customer
this you're assuming that he's using the SIS 6.5 U3, right?
correct. So if the client has a latest much latest version, you have to check with the reference to the latest version as well. For example, if the
Okay.
client has 6.7, you have to select the 6.7. If they have 6, then you have to go further beyond, right?
Yep.
So here is where the client will download the driver for it. Okay.
Okay. So we can just provide him the link to download the driver and stand by for us.
Before that, you need to know what is the version of the firmware.
Correct. But what I mean is that once we identify the customer so-called VMware version,
Right.
then we can help him identify the right so-called correct firmware driver to use for the LOM, and then point him to the right link so that he can download the driver in advance and upgrade the driver for on the day itself. Correct?
Right.
Okay. I think I'll do that, and I'll verify with the Melissa. Maybe that's one part we need to know which version they are using for their VMware, and then we can.
I will say that go prepared. Essentially, there should not be any ifs and buts after going to the site.
Yeah,
Whatever it is, go prepared, and you will only fire once you are there on site. That's all.
correct. But I mean, we have to be prepared in the sense that once we find out we need to find out the VMware version first, then we can get this
Correct.
information.
You have to do that before on the site visit.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say. So we can find out what version of VMware they are using, and then we can point the link for them to download the correct driver first. Then as we proceed, once we are on site, all this firmware or for especially this case, the driver will be available so that he can do this portion first before we proceed with the CMM and all the rest of the upgrade for them or update for them.
Yeah,
Correct?
sure, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions, guys? Let me know. I think we all good. If you want to ask anything, you do ask now. And maybe today contact the customer and ask for the ASXA version. Maybe we may not we may not need to update the network firmware at all because it is already at the version which is suggested for the specific ESXA version. So we need to just cross verify that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I would suggest now is Wednesday. By the time they come back with the answer, I think along the way we will try to familiarize with the downloading and all that kind of thing, and we will dry run what we need to do when we're on site. So along the way, maybe end of the week or towards next week, I think it'll be good to have another session, and we'll see how we can run through the dry run on our site and see whether maybe Hari, you can help us identify any flaw or anything that you can add so that we can so-called fine-tune the approach to the update for the firmware for this customer. What do you think?
I don't have an issue. As long as you guys are comfortable, I do not have issues.
Okay, I think so far that's good for me because I want to make sure that also both of our side we can get this more comfortable as well, and especially important is that it's much more smoother as well as when we approach the right operation site. And I think because you are in the operation for very long, you'll be able to give us very good guide as in terms of maybe area with your experience and area that we don't see at all. So that will be very helpful.
See, there is nothing like it, I would say. Each and every firmware update is unique. There is no pattern to it.
Correct.
And if I compare 100 machines where we updated the firmware, maybe we would have faced an issue in 5.
Yeah.
But the other things goes well until or unless it is planned and executed good. So it's okay unless if you want to review it again, I do not have a problem. It's okay. So you get familiarized. I will share you the documentations of the switch and the CMM firmware as well. Go through it and get familiarized, I would say. Then probably you'll all good. Then you can go and flash the firmware.
Yeah. Okay. I think it will be good also because it allow us some time to do some referencing on your notes as well. Okay.
So I'm not sure if you saw my email or the message that I post in our chat in the beginning. So those are the questions that the customer is asking for now. So I have already sent
the question and last email. Can you assist to verify the files in the FTP portal I'm downloaded? Whether correct what I'm following your guide.
Yeah, so I have sent the FTP address to written guys, so you can have a look later. Like just go and check what the customer is asking. Yeah.
Okay.
And
looks
then
like he has already
connect you
like
directly with the customer, so you can reply to customer's question directly.
Okay, will do.
Sorry,
I
Hari.
think he's asking whether the downloaded files are all good.
Yes.
So go check in the portal whether all the firmware files are good. Then I think you are good to go. Because it is VMware,
Yeah,
we
we'll look
need to
through.
think. It is VMware, we need to think a bit more than the native the operating systems of Windows and Linux. Because VMware works on a compatibility matrix which they tested and published. Okay, so anything beyond or less, they may ask us to action. So let us go prepared. That's what I would say. All right. Yeah, any questions?
So,
I'm good for now.
Hari, just now you say they can actually update the notes simultaneously, right? So it's let's say if three of them are going, is it like one time simultaneously they can only do three notes? Is that
They can do
it?
they can do all the 12 also until or unless you have 12 people in it. See, point here is that the initial boot phase, and I do not want it to do or flush the firmware simultaneously into all the nodes at a time, because if there is an impact, it impacts all the machines.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if something fails, it may fail in all the machines. So I would say go step by step. Take couple of machines, update it, wait for it, ensure that all good. Then you can go for you may take another extra one node. You can take the three nodes this time and flash it. Okay. So I will not advise you flash. There is a provision to take all the servers console at a time and mount an image at a time and update it. But that is not we suggest. So let us take two or three nodes at a time and flash it.
Harry, maybe what we'll do is that once we get in, we will flash the two CMM, two chassis first with CMM, as well as the so-called maybe the UFI and all those. We will leave the network card last, but then as for the nodes, like what you have suggested, we will take maybe about three, reboot them, and do the correct up, up, update first. Then we'll see how it goes. If it goes smoothly, then perhaps from there we can be more confident in approaching maybe two at a time. So that will cover quite a big area. And once all this come up good, then we can proceed to do so-called more consistent of more multiple nodes at a time.
Yeah, okay.
We will have also our own internal discussion and to see whether will this so-called more or less we are so-called agreeable to this. Once that is established, I think that should not be a problem, because I think it's a matter of all nodes supposed to be equal and all the so-called firmware are the same, so it should not have a lot of issue. But of course, precautionary wise, we want to be safe, and we want to make sure that all the nodes have enough time to come back up, and then we can see things go through smoothly.
I'm not sure how much I got out of what you said. I'm really sorry for that.
Sorry.
I'm not sure how much I got in what you said, but so
Okay, what I'm trying to say, Harry, I'll keep it short. So once we have all the IP address for the nodes and for the chassis, first thing we do is that we will upgrade the CMM first, and then the UFI and the other firmware. Once that is done, then we will each take a node to do the upgrade of the firmware for the nodes first.
see,
Then
point here
after-
is that BOMC boot process is painful.
Yeah, after the reboot is done, then we will do the upgrade of the nodes.
No,
Then from there,
I do not want you to boot the BOMC multiple times. Point here is that each and every time the BOMC takes time, nearly about 20 to 30 minutes to boot into the BOMC. So
Okay.
once you boot the BOMC, I want you to finish all the firmware related stuff for the node. So before you flash the BOMC, just get a confirmation whether you want to update the node firmware or not. That is what you need to do. Look into it.
Sorry, I missed that.
I want you to update once the BOMC is booted. I want you to update all the firmwares whatever is required.
Okay.
I don't want you to boot the BOMC couple of times because that consumes time. That consumes nearly about 20 to 30 minutes to boot into the BOMC. That is the highest time consuming stage. The BOMC boot process itself takes time. So before you flash the firmware via BOMC, get a confirmation whether you want to update the network firmware or not. Simple and plain. If you
Okay.
do not want to update it, ignore it.
Okay.
So but prior to all this, you need to get a hold on the ESXi version. So at last you may come to know that the version whatever is available is already at some suggested level for this for the existing operating system,
Okay.
right? So you just need to get a confirmation first. I do not advise you to first flash the UEFI and IMM, reboot and test the machine. Then again, once you get a confirmation, update the network firmware. That is a lengthy process. The BMC boot process, I do not want you to get your heads broken because that takes time, boss. That's the BMC boot process takes time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So all good?
Yep. Good for me.
All good for me too.
All right. Okay, boss. So let me know if you need anything so that I can be of help. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks a lot, Hari.
Thanks, Hari.
Yeah.
Thanks all for joining.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa, for
Thanks,
organizing
Hari.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.